With me is our political editor, Andrew Clennell. And Andrew, before we get to some of the specific questions in the question time, I want to ask you about some leadership speculation within the Labor Party, but it's really emanating from the discussion around energy, isn't it?
That's right, Kieran. So this kerfuffle over gas and coal and climate change in the Labor Party in a meeting with unions on Tuesday. It's not really about energy, or it sort of is. It's also about leadership. It now seems murmurs are growing around Anthony Albanese's leadership in Labor and whether or not the party should switch to Shadow Treasurer Jim Chalmers or a Chalmers-Tanya Plibersek ticket prior to the election. No moves at the moment, but there's certainly talk down here about it. Jim Chalmers is said to want to run next time if Labor loses, not at this election. But such are the questions around Anthony Albanese's cut-through, the polls and his performance in Parliament. People in Labor and the unions are talking. So here's what one federal Labor MP told me this morning. That MP said, people are getting very nervous. If there was an ambitious Latham or Rudd around, he, as in Albanese, would probably be gone by now. This can't go on forever. And here is a union source saying to me there's a massive problem at the moment and that the party's in no different position than it was 18 months ago. We know that when it came to Kevin Rudd being purged in 2010, the AWU and other unions were involved. And so it should be a matter of concern for Albanese that there is concern in the union movement at his performance. Joel Fitzgibbon, the Shadow Resources spokesman, he's the one who organised a PowerPoint presentation by the CFMEU and AWU to caucus members on Tuesday, outlining how Labor should back gas and coal jobs prior to renewables jobs. He was seen having a coffee at Aussie's Cafe with AWU boss Dan Walton on Tuesday, Mr Fitzgibbon. 33 MPs, or about a third of the caucus, attended this briefing. They were told renewables won't be coming properly on board for another 15 or 20 years, so it was the time to win back the support of gas and coal and manufacturing workers. Stats put to the MPs by the union leaders included there were 81,000 resources workers in WA, 220,000 manufacturing workers Greater Melbourne, 171,000 manufacturing workers Greater Sydney, and the MPs were told that manufacturing needs gas. The rumblings about leadership partly come because Labor presently has 68 seats within reach of government. MPs do not want to lose more seats, which many in the opposition see as potentially making it too hard for them in a 2024 or 2025 election, never mind the next one. Angus Taylor seized on these reports around the union meeting with caucus or members of caucus to give a speech. The Energy Minister this morning, Mark Butler, Joel Fitzgibbon's enemy on this issue, gave a speech in reply where he again dissed, if you like, a gas-led recovery.
Not only does the so-called gas-fired recovery fail to deliver any recovery, it is completely out of touch with the clear message being given by all business groups, by investors, by lenders, by central banks here in Australia and all around the world. And that is that economic recovery pathways out of this COVID pandemic and the recessions that have been driven by the pandemic should be paved with clean energy.
And Taylor, he got stuck into Mark Butler in question time.
This week, Mr Speaker, we saw the AWU, the CFMEU and 32 Labor MPs with a member for Hindmarsh in their sights, Mr Speaker. Now, we've seen more constructive policy from the CFMEU and the AWU this week than we've seen from the member for Hindmarsh for 7 years as Shadow Minister.